Unless you think it was manufactured by our government, which is another conspiracy theory that actually had nothing to do with the Middle East. It had to do with us wanting to have a reason to go into the Middle East and get into a war. And people will say that we shouldn't have ever been in that war. And that's the crazy part. When you start to peel back the layers of the onion, where do you stop?
Bring it on!
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm Farley Boyle.
I'm Darian Boyle.
And I'm Jennifer Brenius.
Collectively, we're two sister-in-laws with our bestie.
We don't just talk, we do it. Day, night, mountain, beach, and city.
Get ready as we bring gratitude and attitude to everything we do.
We jump in head first, unafraid, and we're all in all the time.
We bring it on and get it on each week, diving deep into authentic, unscripted conversations
on just about everything. So
let's get gritty.
Bring it on! Bring it on! Don't wait until tomorrow!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty. I'm Darian Boyle here with my girls, Farley and Jennifer, on this kickoff week of 4th of July. Thanks so much for tuning in to us. This is the summer of Girls Gone Gritty. I can feel it, ladies. How you feeling about that?
Anytime we can celebrate anything, I'm in.
Absolutely.
And celebrating our country and independence and freedom, I'm doubly in.
I just love all the red, white, and blue all the summer through. I feel like it's parties and bikinis and fun and sun and vacations. And then finally, the sun is shining here in the Northeast. It feels like we've been in the UK for as long as I can remember. It's a great time to be alive every day.
We have scored 4th of July in Positano. That was incredible.
Oh my gosh.
This time we are going to be in Australia.
Yeah.
I'll be in Jersey going to the Donovan Frankenreiter show on 4th of July.
So fun.
At the Stone Pony Summer Stage. And I just am laughing because 4th of July is such a big time. And Jeff's like, I got tickets for the 4th. I'm like, all right, Didi, you're out. You're going with someone. I'm laughing because on our last episode, episode 70, we talked about sleep and the ring. I wore my ring. I started wearing this, my Aura ring. We had when you go back to episode 70, it was about sleep. And one of the things we talked about that Farley mentioned was the Aura ring, how it helps your sleep. And I had mine by the bedside table for months. So now I have it. So thanks, Far.
Is it dialed into your phone?
No. Nope.
Well, it's not going to do any good. The Aura ring.
Baby steps.
It will count. Is it charged?
It's charged. It's
Okay.
green. It's illuminating my finger. Green, but
it's not going to help you sleep better. It's going to tell you if you sleep well.
I know. I have it on my phone, but I haven't really looked at my phone. Yeah. So it's right. It's one step, baby.
Setting up for today's episode, it might be tracking your every move and every thought and feeling. So I don't know. We got to stay tuned. Stay tuned as we discuss those conspiracy theories in a little bit. But Bar, what do we have this week for our top 3 as we scour news across the globe?
Well, coming in at number 3, Sabrina Carpenter blows it doggy style.
Yeah. If anyone saw the cover of Sabrina Carpenter's new album, it's demeaning. It's the epitome of just filth. She's on her knees and looks like she's actually giving a blowy to the guy, and he's grabbing her hair. And Didi listens to it. I don't want you to look at that album. She's dirty, though. We went to a concert with Didi last year, and he bought the tickets, thought, oh, it's going to be a great show. Goes in, and there's the scene is her stage is bathtubs and houses, and they open up of her with basically nothing on in the bathtub with my 10-year-old. Every scene, she was getting naughtier and naughtier. There's a big sign that says this is basically an X-rated show. This is not for little kids. So watch at your own risk. She had a big disclaimer next to the stage.
Want to be like the Hannah Montana turned Miley Cyrus. She's trying to go right for the Miley Cyrus. And she doesn't want to appeal to that fan base, but she is stupid because that fan base that recognizes her music and loves her would be making her millions of dollars if she did it correctly. Hannah Montana did it correctly, and she outgrew the rated G Disney model and became Farley, and everybody's devastated.
Yeah.
But I love her, and she's spectacular. I got to go with my kids to her shows that were spot on Hannah Montana, and then all of a sudden she broke out.
Well, Sabrina Carpenter, she's just angry. Taylor took her man. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Women need to understand that we can't have it both ways. And the messages that we send, it's like you're like doing a striptease. So get it together, man. Have some self-respect.
Right.
Right.
And we dumb
And we
ourselves down. Well, competing against Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint, there's now Trump, Mint, and Smartless Mobile.
I can't even take the fact that everybody is hopping in to the telecom business. It's
It's lucrative because we can't live without our phone.
Ryan Reynolds bought it. So what it
Mint
is
Mobile.
is you have Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon, and they own all the bandwidth. They own
AT&T.
and AT&T. So they own everything. You can go like Ryan Reynolds did, and you buy chunks of cell phone time. Say you buy it for 2 cents for a megabyte or whatever it is. Then they go and resell it. So as you grow and build your brand, as you build your company, you get bigger, then you buy more from AT&T. So they don't necessarily
Like they're growing their network.
they're growing their network, but it's not their own network. They're still working off of all the feeds that AT&T, Verizon, Sprint that they all use. So now Trump's coming in. People hate him.
So it's like tier marketing.
It's tier
telecom.
marketing.
well, I think what Darian's point is it's the buying bandwidth. So there's a
Bandwidth.
certain-
Thank you. That was
there's
the
a
word.
certain capacity that everybody has, and that's why they roll out from 4G. They go to 5G,
Right.
and it increases the speed and the amount that the bandwidth can actually handle. So think of it like cabling in old time, but now it's going over our heads across tower to tower. The issue is that it's largely unregulated and largely like don't know where these things are going. So the bands could be anywhere. They could be off of a building, they could be off of a tower, and they're just increasing all this stuff because they recognize that connectivity is everything.
Yeah, but Trump's name on it, it's going to sink. All the Patriots will have it, though.
True. Well, that wraps up number 2. And number 1, since when does Google answer as AI? Have you guys done a search recently and seen the results? It says AI.
Yeah, you actually don't Google search things. You are told what the answer is without knowing what the source really is, and it's Google's own source. So I think it's a slippery slope. I feel like it's a little bit nefarious where it's kind of just slipped in to your actual Google results, and I'll put that in air quotes because those are also curated by ads and sponsored content. Like, how do you even know what the real answer is? You don't.
If you Google why is AI now the response mechanism of Google, it says make sure you fact check. So now you have to go back and do additional checks to see if what AI spit out is even correct.
So a lot of the times the AI, they use it, but you can't count on it because they're just spewing out information. It's not always correct. So if you're doing a paper, you're doing research, you have to kind of triple check what AI is saying because they're not correct. And what is the search engine you're pulling it from will be different, Google to Firefox to any other of your streaming services. So you really have to be careful when using AI because they are taking over the world.
We still don't know who the they is, but is basically telling us what they want us to know. And
It's all about money.
Speaking of
Oh,
they, we're talking about hoaxes, cultural phenomenons. Conspiracy theories have fascinated people for years and years. They offer explanations for different events in time, whether they're true, whether they're false. The question is for everyone out there listening, to believe or not to believe these conspiracy theories. That is the big question we are tackling today with the 3Gs. Let's talk about these crazy conspiracy theories that have been around since the 1900s.
you like some of these crazy conspiracy
For
theories.
sure.
Everybody
Always.
does. Everybody does because what they really do is give you a reason for something being out of your control, or they give you a reason to like continue on in your everyday life. And to me, that makes tremendous sense. That's how humans cope with things.
You need an answer.
and we need an
Why did this
answer.
happen? Here's your answer.
It's out of my
But it also
control.
depends on
Some of them are
where
very
you-
realistic.
Yeah, but it depends on where you go, who you're asking, because if you go underground to that deep, dark web, you'll have a totally different answer than if you're just mainstream, because the mainstream media only release the information that they want people to know.
I think it's deeper than that.
And
I-
deeper,
I,
and
think it's
deeper.
deeper than that because not only I agree with you, but we also know that our searches are curated. We just mentioned Google search, Google answer,
Right.
and what I'll get as my response on things will be completely different than somebody who gets their news from something else, because Google search knows who I am, so they're going to give me a curated answer that's based on what my thoughts and beliefs and searches have been. So I think that's crazy. So let's dive a little bit deeper into a couple of these. Let's talk about them. I think the biggest one, and the one that when I did my pages and pages of research on this topic, was the theory of Illuminati, QAnon, and the deep state. And that the broad brushing is all about there's very few select people that run everything, that manipulate everything. If you go back to our human trafficking episode, which is episode 57, that's an issue, and it's part of all the conspiracy theories that they have had. And listen, our P. Diddy episode also referenced the fact that the elite are manufacturing things.
What is this now? Take it away, Dave.
Right, and you guys are laughing at me. Look, I'm vax injured. So when you're vax injured, what do? You go deep, because there's answers out there if you really want to find them. Just look, and to believe or not to believe is the question that we ask all the time.
To reference the X-Files.
So one of them, when you talk about QAnon, anybody ever hear about adrenochrome?
It's terrifying.
So adrenochrome, it's a rich compound formed by the oxidation of adrenaline, like epinephrine, and it's a deep violet color. And these elites, supposedly, they kidnap kids or they take a child and they get them super excited so they get to their highest level of adrenaline, and then they drink their blood. And it's supposed to give you lasting vitality.
It's like the fountain of youth.
Yes. They said years ago that it was.
Who's they? Who's that?
So
I love this. Who's
the
they?
QAnon
Who's
and the conspiracy theorists, they claim that harvesting the children's adrenochrome, they use it as a psychiatric drug years ago. I mean, there was the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and that was there. And it's scary as can be, because the conspiracy theorists are saying all this human trafficking is happening because they're taking the adrenochrome from these kids. The Clintons are behind it, and all these big names that you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's like the fountain of youth.
And one of the most terrifying parts about getting their adrenaline, as it's peaking, is technically when they're supposedly climaxing, which is so.
I'm glad you said it. That was freaking me out.
I want to debunk some of these things too, or at least I want people to explore them on their own. Has there been ever a prosecution, to your knowledge, of somebody doing this?
From underground, there are groups that are slowly coming out, and there's different events that people go to, and they all have this sign, and it's like a tattoo, and you'll see them, and they almost go in a catatonic state at some of these award shows.
It's the eye, because that's often used with the Illuminati. It's actually on the dollar bill.
It's like all about satanic rituals.
It's the
is where it goes back to.
Pyramid with the eye on it that is referred back a lot. I'm always curious, because when you try and Google these things, again, we're going to go back to the fact that you can't understand what the truth is regardless. So I'm always curious as to if we believe in the deep state, which I kind of do, and we believe that there's manipulation in governments to maintain control, then these kinds of things would never get prosecuted. They would never get to that point. So
yeah, because look who's when you
because the rules don't apply to the elite. The rules don't apply to the wealthy. They don't apply to government officials. They don't apply across the board to a lot of different people. And that's part of what's fueling a lot of this distrust.
I also think the reason that if adrenochrome is a real situation, like Epstein, some of these powerhouse people, the Diddies, people they slip things under the rug, and it just doesn't get discussed. And some of the names that are linked to the adrenochrome conspiracy, besides the Clintons, are the Obamas and Tom Hanks, Oprah Winfrey. So when you look at the power of these powerhouses, they can make things go away.
So here's the question. Why haven't we seen Oprah over the past years? Where is she? Where has she been during BLM, during all these major events over years? She's been on house arrest, and she got busted with child trafficking.
Is that a conspiracy theory?
I saw photos. I saw photos on my underground site, which my friend gets from her buddy who's in the army. So look, this could be all fake news. Look, where did Tom Hanks go? Where did Ellen DeGeneres? These are all people that they're saying that have ankle bracelets on from reading underground and they're all part of human trafficking that's leading to the adrenochrome. Who wants the fountain of youth? Hillary Clinton. Once again, this is things that I've read.
Let's go back to
well-
Epstein, who I mentioned, because there are several conspiracy theories that involve this creep of a creep. He, A, either committed suicide, B, was killed because he knew too much and the powerhouses wanted to take him out on the inside, or 3, is still alive. So that's the question. All of a sudden, when they're doing a cell check on Epstein, the lights don't work. The light bulbs were removed and there's no cameras. The video cameras were down. So there's no footage of him either A, killing himself, being killed. It's just a question mark. And that is why conspiracy theories, it's a perfect example of, do we know, do we not? It's almost kind of like Al-Qaeda and
Saddam
Bin
Hussein.
Laden. We know that a hit team went in and took him out. We also know that
Do we though?
Well, I mean, we think we know. We think we know.
We're going to start doing this. I
We
mean,
think we know. And we think that we know as a country, we did the respectful thing from a religious standpoint and had him buried at sea, correct?
that's
So
the
but
story.
we still haven't seen proof of his body, and they could throw a sheet over anybody.
And again, now with AI, they can just manufacture that information anyway.
What do we know anymore?
Well, what do you know? So, but think about 9/11. There was just recently a plane that went into a building, and you saw how the plane went into the building, and the building didn't collapse. So, one of the conspiracy theories are 9/11. There were bombs. So when the plane went, a plane of that level, it wouldn't just dun, 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 take out all the floors below. There were bombs in there, and it was proof when you saw recently. I forget what plane went into the building. You're like,
Was it
wait,
the recent one that just
The
But I think
recent
that-
one.
But I think that was debunked because I think
No,
that
I'm
it was
saying this is-
engineered.
no,
It
this
was
is the-
engineered. Yeah.
see there. So that was like, but when you saw that, my brother Bruce was like, see, I told you.
Right.
I was like, I don't know. I don't want to go back that far because it's sad and we lost a lot of friends, but that's how your mind can go crazy with conspiracy theories.
That's true. It's terrifying. Really think about 9/11. Just the fact that it was such a master plan, and you can't debunk that. The fact that it fell on 911, it had to have been done purposely.
Unless you think it was manufactured by our government, which is another
another-
conspiracy theory that actually had nothing to do with the Middle East. It had to do with us wanting to have a reason to go into the Middle East and get into a war. And people will say that we shouldn't have ever been in that war. And that's the crazy part. When you start to peel back the layers of the onion, where do you stop?
And when you can't listen to the Democrats or the Republicans because they both fabricate truths, we don't really, we
Totally.
think that the truth is somewhere in between. But what do we know? What do we
Yeah.
really know? We know what we see.
Mhm.
We know what we witness. And it's becoming less and less because of AI and because of all these media distortions to the truth. It's a very scary place that we live in right now.
Yes.
The world is a scary place.
It's
and-
scary.
And then it's not, because I have to also feel like I operate where my day to day is actually very good. Right. What I would like to say is that for those of you listening, and if you have somebody that's a very anxious, nervous person,
Don't Google
don't
conspiracy
Google
theories.
things, don't go down that rabbit hole, but be aware of the fact that people have many different opinions. You're going to have people that are on the left, they're going to have them on the right, they're going to be people in the center, and try and understand if your day to day is going okay, but you're curious. So we should have a curiosity about some of these things because, you know, the old proverb of like, where there's smoke, there's fire. There are some truths. And if we are at a place where we collectively have a distrust in our government, which again, if we come back to our top line conspiracy theory about the deep state and the Illuminati, then that's how they also can control us. That's so how we are creating, look, well, I
Like
don't
the War of
believe
the
in that.
Worlds. We mentioned this in
Totally.
an episode before where, you know, the government was definitely in on that. Was it a test? An emergency response test? Was it a test to see how much power they have over their listening demographic?
Well, government always takes over. Think of Area 51. Area 51, where they're housing spacecraft and aliens, and they're going, okay, are there really aliens? In 1947, one of the most famous UFO-related incidences in UFO history, when they recovered debris from Roswell, New Mexico, and it was a flying disc, and then all of a sudden, everything disappeared. Everything got swept under the rug. So you wonder, are there aliens? Are there not? And the
then
government hides it.
And the flip side of that was that they were testing these new supersonic jets. I don't know what to call them.
Yeah,
It was something that needed regards to the Soviet Union, like to, spy on them.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
So in 1955, they tested spy planes like they were called Lockheed U-2s. And
Lockheed
U-2s. And it's since been used for experimental aircraft and weapons testing. And the CIA has declassified everything. And once again, it's swept under the rug because the last thing you want to know is,
Well,
there's
widespread
aliens
panic, as
out
we've
there.
said.
Right.
Like a lot of times we can't live with the truth, or the general
Right.
public would immediately go into a chaotic state. So
mob mentality would take over.
True.
Individuals
I think
are
there's
intelligent.
aliens for sure.
Hey, God,
I know that.
Hey, go back to our alien
My
episode.
ex-girlfriend's father. Hello.
We're plugging all our episodes today.
Well, because we kind of
want you to binge.
all the time, a little. Yes. Well, I'll tell you, the LA Forgotten Trail of tunnels
Ooh.
is kind of fascinating. And going back to the adrenochrome and sex trafficking and all these things, it's very true. There are 11 miles of tunnels under LA in the 20th century. They were having such a hard time getting places, horse and buggy, and it was hilly. And, the engineers really started trying to think about a better way for mass transit and how they were going to get people efficiently and quickly from A to Z in that location. They were designed initially to support prohibition. People were making a fortune on alcohol, as they still are today. And that was a very effective way to go below ground and still profit from liquor sales.
Sure.
Also, it was corruption for smuggling all kinds of different things. So you go back, you can watch different documentaries that talk about these tunnels that exist. If you have tunnels that existed once upon a time that are still there, do we not think that they're being utilized? Do you not think that people can use them as an escape route? I don't know if there's tunnels from like Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion to P. Diddy. If that was possible, I would imagine Diddy would have made that happen. There's also rumors about Diddy's mansion to Michael Jackson's mansion. There are tunnels out there.
1000%. If you do a quick AI Google search on how many cities have tunnels in them, and then you think about the underground subway systems that we have in place across the world. We know the technology is there. If I'm a very elite, wealthy human being traveling by tunnel, I don't have to worry about the elements. I don't have to worry about getting seen. I don't have to worry about a lot of things. It's
Super.
quick and easy and convenient. And I can have a little go-kart in my tunnel and get from point A to point B. Tunnels freak me out. The Illuminati headquarters is in Denver, and
Underneath the
according
airport.
to them, and it's not actually an urban legend, it's truthful legend, that the horse that greets you at the Denver airport is this beautiful blue stallion rearing its front legs, and it's got these red eyes. And the artist that commissioned this work, he actually died before it could get put up. With the actual statue took out his femoral artery, and he passed before he could even have it up. And there were questions about like his death and surrounding who he was playing with, and it really is kind of crazy. His name was Lucifer, not to be confused with Brucifer.
My brother
He actually named himself Lucifer, has a bit of a Lucifer.
Think about the tunnels underground that when I lived in California, all the time on the news. Another drug bust, another people trying to get across. They're deep, dark tunnels. The cartel are like infamous for that, going from
Disney
Mexico.
World.
I was going to say Disney World. Everything goes under.
Yep.
And
Thinking. I mean, think about it.
Well, and a lot of, I was saying to Farley before, we were talking a little bit earlier, that, there's real good reuses for tunnels. Like when you go to Calgary, they have tunnels because it's so cold that nobody would walk anywhere within the city because it's subarctic temperature. So they've created this tunnel system to allow just regular people to utilize it. I want to believe in the good of our governments, and I want to believe in the fact that these conspiracy theories are meant to make us feel better and to have us think about what's happening. But one thing I will leave the listening audience with, and I want everybody to vacillate on, is that for AI, which we're going to cover in extensive, they are the only industry in which government agencies are excluded in the development of the technology. So in the AI arena, the military capabilities are exempt from any AI rules across the board because we're in a foot race with China. That's a reality.
Huge, yeah.
And they are deploying these things with without any regulations.
Scary.
So tune in eventually to that episode.
Well, that's like so I wonder if AI is going to be part of cloud seeding, weather modification, because that's a conspiracy theory, but it's true. It's been around for years.
Do you put this on our map as well? And I have to say, I believe in it. I do believe it.
Yes. So cloud seeding is basically weather modification. All precipitation requires clouds. Now, they can't do cloud seeding without clouds. You need the clouds because what happens is a plane comes up and it releases
or a drone
or a drone
I saw drones like with chemtrails in Monmouth County.
Yeah. I mean, it's the chemtrails are out there, but they're saying that it's condensation trails.
That's contrails. Yeah.
That's contrails. But the chemtrails, they believe that it's a technique to enhance precipitation underneath specific conditions. And they say that it's driven by ocean heat and atmospheric dynamics. And it's interesting. You look at places where they have this cloud seeding, and it's places like Texas where they have a super drought and their crops are dying. So they go up and they release, it's like nitrogen and oxygen into
See, I agree with that.
So
it's going to save crops.
Yes. So it enhances precipitation like snow and rain. It introduces substances into the clouds to encourage water droplets to form and fall. And what they use are silver, iodine, potassium iodine, and dry ice. And it's the nuclei around which the clouds will form. So when it's dropped into the cloud, this iodide, the clouds take it as it's like the closest thing to ice. And these crystals then kind of link onto each other. And then when there's enough, it drops rain. They use it
heavy, right?
and it gets too heavy. So they bring it to places where there's a drought. In China, they used it for the Olympics, cloud seeding, so that it would be blue skies for opening ceremony. They're using it in all these different ways. But then there's the conspiracy theory side where you have places where they redirected the storms, like the Hawaii fires. And then you go to Asheville, North Carolina, where all of a sudden they rerouted, and it's feldspar. It's an abundant in the Spruce Pine mining district just north of Asheville. And what happened is, what they're saying is that they redirected the hurricane and it dropped 30 inches of rain to an area where nobody had any insurance and they'd never had a flood before. It took out all the homes. So now who comes in and swoops in?
Knock, knock, knock.
BlackRock comes in, knocks on the door, basically buys the property for the feldspar that they use for all the new AI technology.
So you think that they, in that example, just to continue, is BlackRock or the U.S. government?
It was BlackRock came in and bought it, and they
no. Who did the cloud seeding that created the opportunity for BlackRock? Like, this is where I try and like peel back the onion.
Right.
Like, who's creating that opportunity?
What they're saying is that it was a certain president's family member that was involved. Which
and if Elon Musk can build a spaceship,
yes,
then I would imagine it was somebody with a lot of money and power. And if it's government utilized, creating rain and whether that's going to benefit, I feel like they have their hand in it, but they're also probably stirring the pot with whoever Moneybags is.
So this specific family member was tied to certain presidents.
How come we're not saying this family member?
Because I just
say it.
Yeah.
Well, it was the Obamas. And then,
a bunch of presidents.
I guess it's fine.
Who cares?
Supposedly, and
conspiracy theory.
This is all conspiracy theories, you guys. This is what's fun because then you're like, wait, no way. Also, what was told is that people that were in Asheville saw all the trucks and people ready to dig 2 days after. As the floods happened, they were already there, ready to go start mining. And look at it now. I mean, it's devastated. There's nothing left.
It's similar to Bill Gates trying to take over Tampa. I'm sure if you Google that, you'll see that he thinks it's like the perfect, what is it? It's not a blue zone. What is the city called when you can walk everywhere within?
Yeah, it's a blue zone.
It's a blue zone.
It's a blue zone.
So at one point, Tampa just got getting hammered with weather and hurricanes, and was thinking that at one point it was going to be absolutely desecrated. And that theory was that Bill Gates wanted to come in and swoop in and be the hero and buy up all the property for the same reasons as Asheville was rich with a mineral or a gas that we need. And he wanted to kind of create the first blue zone.
Right.
In the U.S., other than California.
Yeah.
Other than California.
Well, what they also said is that if you do cloud seeding, the most expensive cloud seeding is hail. costs from, then it goes to rain. So hail is the most expensive thing to form. So hail would be whatever you use that for. So it's from
To destroy
$200,000 to millions. And then you can go rain. But no, people in Texas literally use it, Louisiana. And there's a whole list, and it's happened since like early 1900s.
Listen, conspiracy theories, who knows? If we've had aliens on the planet, if we've been populated by a third, another entity, anything's possible. And
On that note, my dad did work for NASA for years, and there is a big conspiracy theory that we never landed on the moon.
oh, please.
And my dad worked Apollo 1 through Apollo 11, and we have a rock, a little piece of rock that was awarded to everybody that worked in that whole cycle of Apollo. And people are trying to say that the flag shouldn't have been waving in the wind because it's a weightless universe. They're saying that there were no stars. They thought it was a very fabricated moment in history. And I don't think that they've gone back since Apollo 12? Because they claim that we've done all that there is to do there and there's no point in going back. So I can tell you that I think it was Buzz Aldridge. Is it?
Yeah, that's, yep.
He punched somebody in the face when he was 70 years old at a party because somebody came out of nowhere, like media, and said, when are you going to own it that this is all a fraud? And he just leveled the guy. And once again, there's always somebody that's going to have a question mark or challenge something. But I truly do believe that we did go to the moon.
Right. I believe you go to the moon, but everyone has two sides of the story. Like cloud seeding.
Absolutely.
Cloud seeding does exist, but does it exist to the giant scope of redirecting a hurricane and then taking out Asheville and all these other towns? That is a giant conspiracy theory, but it's fun to talk about.
Listen, we are at a point in our time that the wealthy have extreme resources. We have technology that's unfathomable to the regular human. So the scope of possibility now, I think, is just going to expand the amount of conspiracy theories and how people get ingrained into what they believe in. I have to believe that most people are good people. There's not a nefarious, dastardly government that's manipulating things, because I feel if I did really fundamentally believe that wholeheartedly, I would have to peace out and move to Bali full time and just not be a functioning member of society that played by the rules. Because if what we're saying in human trafficking, aliens, adrenochrome is all real, I don't want to operate.
Keep your kids close
in this world.
And, it's all fueled from greed on some level and power.
Totally.
And that has been around since the beginning of time. So,
and keeping us
decipher what
occupied.
You want to decipher.
Yeah. Which is
your
super
mantras.
fun. And speaking of mantras, positive, who's our God Grit winner of the week?
We have a phenomenal
Getting jiggy with it.
God Grit story. And it's going to be two people that win this award. Peyton Manning, believe it or not, as a kid, had a weird voice. He was bullied. He wasn't regarded as this super athlete. He was an awkward kid. People just made fun of him. And there was a boy in his school named Marcus Bryant who stood up for him when no one else would. He basically said, leave him alone. He was half the size of Peyton. And this kid, he was courageous and strong and not scared of anybody, had no fear, continued to have Manning's back. So it's something that Peyton never, ever forgot. And he went on a mission. He's searching for Marcus because he wanted to say, thank you. I recognize what you did for me was incredibly powerful. So when he went back to Marcus's hometown, he found out that he had died 10 years earlier in a car accident. There's a video of him at his gravesite in front of the tombstone, and he's crying and weeping. And he sat there for 2 hours talking to him and just letting him know how much his words did enable Peyton to persevere and rise up. So he went to his children and said, your father was a hero. Let me carry his kindness forward. And he set up a scholarship program for them both to go to college.
It's amazing.
So here's this little guy that got no recognition, Marcus Bryant. And now Peyton Manning is also a hero in this, to remember that somebody that was a no name did something for him and maybe changed the trajectory of his life because it gave him a little more courage, or he felt like he had somebody in his corner. So hats off to Peyton for recognizing that Marcus Bryant did something excelsior.
Oh, I love that. I love the ripple
Mhm.
effect that people can have, especially the big people that pay it forward to people in
Sometimes
their
it
past.
takes you a long time to realize that that moment could be a defining moment. And it obviously has been something that Peyton has gone back and thought of a million times. And he finally decided, I'm going to go find him
Yeah.
and I'm going to thank him and I'm going to do something in his honor. And that's what he did.
That's
I mean,
pretty cool.
at face value, the Peyton family seems like they're solid human beings and people that you want to aspire to be and emulate. And I hope that's the case because I did watch a scary show last night on Brett Favre.
Oh, I did too.
Holy
I just
moly!
that.
Whoa.
I know.
No, the Manning family they're tremendous, and they do a lot for Red Sneakers for Oakley.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We'll
I
have to put a
actually
link
posted
up
that.
to that.
Yeah,
We'll put a
I
link up
posted
to
that recently on
both of those
Red
things.
Sneakers
Yeah.
Day.
Oh,
Oh,
so
cool.
good.
International Day.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Love it. All right.
All right. Well,
What are we
we have
feeling?
some
A little
music
song.
today that's going to bring you some joy this holiday weekend. Raised on promises, she couldn't help thinking that there was a little more to life, somewhere else. After all, it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. Yeah, and if she had to die trying, she had one little promise she was going to keep.
And that song comes on, and I'm like, yes, I am the.
We are the American girls.
Yeah.
Tom Petty.
These American girls want to thank
And the
you.
Heartbreakers.
Want to thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate your time and the energy that you've given to us. And we hope that you'll take the opportunity to share this with someone you love this holiday weekend. Talk to your friends when you're at a barbecue and you're at the beach about the conspiracy theories that you believe in. And
Keeping it real, folks. Just trying to create conversations and
It's so
highlight a
fun.
few things that make you think.
you think
Yeah.
and make you move, because next week we're going to be coming back to some great inspirational movies that you can sing to, that are the soundtrack of your life. So we hope you continue to tune in to us, and we want to thank you so much.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
God bless America.
God bless America. Peace out. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty.
You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
If this episode hits home, share it with someone who needs to get gritty.
The 3 Gs. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.